Hello and welcome to the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, race number 2 here tonight from Texas. This is the PrimeTime Sports Talk 200. Just the second race of the season as we watch the drivers go around and practice here from the Texas Motor Speedway. A mile-and-a-half racetrack here in Fort Worth, Texas. And it's going to be an exciting one here under the lights tonight in the Lone Star State. These guys are going to have a hard time hanging on to these race cars. You saw it right there. It's going to be a fun battle among the drivers. See who can come out on top. Last week's winner, Joshua Abbey, is out here on the racetrack number 5 machine. Looking to see if he can go back-to-back. Currently 25th on the practice boards, so he's going to have to pick up the pace here in qualifying. We want to thank you all for joining us here tonight for the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, brought to you by the NASCAR Brawl Podcast, as well as tonight's sponsor, PrimeTime Sports Talk. You can check them out at the link in the chat there. PrimeTime Sports Talk, the national sports outlet covering all 4 major sports, including college sports and more. Or more at primetimesportstalk.com or on Twitter at TalkPrimetime. I want to thank them for sponsoring tonight's race. Take a look at who else is on the racetrack here. Take a look at tonight's track conditions. It's going to be 88-degree air temp, 90-degree track temp. We're going to bring up the ticker here to see where the drivers are standing right now. Following on with Jeff Pogo, who is second, but he is very loose coming out of turn number 2. See if we can go on board with a driver here. It's actually Jeremiah Vincent going to bring it to pit lane. He gets in there a little bit too hot. Able to keep it off the wall. Alex Pelican making his debut in this series. We've seen Alex on the channel here before. Thank you for following NewMe21. I want to thank all of you who followed before the race started up here. Jeff Carpenter, Greg Dice, Senior Mustafer, War Bovine, Ricky 2511, Blazer Pete, and now NewMe21. Thank you all for following. We're up over 300, so we're going to be doing a giveaway next week. And we're going to be announcing more about that on our Twitter, so check us out over there. It's at VSpeedSim. We'll be announcing more information about that next week. Hope everyone is doing well tonight. My name is Adam Baker, and I'll be your commentator along for the ride in tonight's event. We want to thank you for joining here on VSpeed. The driver's getting ready to go out there and take some qualifying laps. Looks like Robin Hughes, first one on the racetrack. We'll see how he does here. Let's check in with the number 3. Jay Park says he is not on the track. Lambert will be out there soon, but currently waiting to get on the speedway to take that qualifying lap. Robin Hughes going to be the first one at the line here. A couple others. Brett Sommers, Dallas Sullivan also on the racetrack, putting in their qualifying times. And Robin comes down the back straightaway here. Let's go on board with him. You can go pretty much flat out here around the Texas Motor Speedway, but turns 1 and 2 are much more challenging than they used to be. Very similar to the turns in Kentucky, a lot flatter, and if you miss that bottom groove, it's not going to be quite as fast as you see. Robin about 3.5 tenths off the fastest lap time through there. As Dallas Sullivan at the top, Seth Hatchell second on the boards in the V-Speed Camaro. We'll see how he does here on lap number 2. Currently about 2 tenths off of the pole as he tries to pick it up here on lap 2. Hatchell bringing it down across the start-finish line here. Does he improve? Yes, he will. 981. That's good for second at the moment, with Dallas Sullivan currently scored on the pole. Hatchell putting in a nice solid lap time. Let's go. I was going to say go on board here with Timothy Emanuele, who is so thankfully helped me correct the pronunciation of his name. We got a couple more here. Safe Farias also correcting my pronunciation. He rolls out onto the racetrack. Had a very up and down race last week at Daytona, where he was involved in about 5 different accidents and still managed to earn a solid top 10 against all odds, it seemed. And I was informed of the qualifying protocol here. The first 5 minutes are for putting in a lap time. The last 5 minutes are the drivers' meeting. So when we get to that time, we're going to run some commercials and be back for the start of the race. But safe here, the number 44, trying to get out of turn 2. Wow, big slide there as he's going to lose a lot of time. Looks like he's going to try and reset, get a better lap time in. He'll have one shot at it as he already crossed the line. He rolls back out on the racetrack. There's another driver here who I pronounced the name incorrectly last week. That is Joey Mines. I was saying Joey Maines. So we'll get that right tonight as well, as Farias across the line, going to try and put in his lap time here. Looks like he's already getting a little bit loose again. This time, though, keeps it nice and straight down into turns 3 and 4. Let's see where he puts it. As Alex Pelican is your top driver right now. He took that spot away from Dallas Sullivan. Saw Alex perform incredibly well when he was in the iRacing Fantasy Cup Series. As that time around, Safe Farias up to 6th. And I believe that's going to be his only lap that he's able to put in. But a nice solid lap for one shot at it. Just 42 thousandths off the pole. Let's see if anyone else is on the racetrack. Looks like everybody done, and that is going to be it for the qualifying session. The drivers now going to head to their drivers meeting, and that means we are going to step away, and you can hear more about the NASCAR Brawl podcast as well as the Brawl Network right now.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with V-Speed. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at V-Speed Sim. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
Welcome back to the racetrack now. Drivers in their drivers meeting. So that means we've still got about a minute and 10 seconds here until we get to our starting grid. But big shout out to NASCAR Brawl, the podcast. They just released their first episode featuring the postman, Mike Post from MRN. So awesome to have a big name on there like that in their first episode, and very excited to see who they've got coming up in future episodes. I know there's some big names definitely coming up here in the future, so check those guys out. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It's NASCAR Brawl, part of the Brawl Network, which has so many great podcasts brought to you by passionate content creators. So check all of those out. We are waiting just a little bit longer here. Tonight's race once again brought to you by PrimeTime Sports Talk, and you can find their information in the chat as well. And just about 10 seconds until we get to our starting grid here. And it's going to be set as you see it on the screen, so go ahead and get that up on screen here. So going to our starting grid, Alex Pelican, the number 98 machine, he's going to be rolling off in that pole position, so congrats to him on taking that top spot in his first start here. Just 1/1000th faster than Dallas Sullivan, who makes up the outside of row number 1, starting in that second position. Starting in third, it's going to be Seth Hatchell, the V-Speed Camaro number 8. Alan Dice going to be rolling off in the 4th position. Cody Adkins starting in 5th, and alongside him, it's Safe Farias in the number 44 machine in 6th. 7th is going to be AJ Stravato, the number 48 machine. Alongside him, Jeff Pogo in the number 24. Starting 9th, last week's winner locked into the playoffs already. He's looking for back-to-back wins, rolling off in the 9th position. Found some speed after the practice session. Jeremiah Vincent going to be rolling off and rounding out the top 10 in 10th position. Dylan Teal starting in 11th. It's going to be 12th. Eric Gallion. 13th, Brandon Vasquez. 14th is going to be John Mullen. Thank you for the follow, Dasani. And also thank you, Chef724, for the follow during the break there. Rolling off in 15th, it's going to be Robin Hughes, the number 29 machine. Lane Sulfridge going to be rolling off in the 16th spot. 17th, it's going to be Michael Newman in the number 12. Jason Perkins is going to be rolling off in 18th in the number 49 machine. Lyle Sulfridge is going to be starting in 19th. Josiah Vincent will round out the top 20. In 21st, it's going to be Dan Dill. 22nd, Eric Holly. 23rd, Thomas Brendel. 24th, Chris Wheeler. 25th, Wes Weigand. 26th, Brett Sommers. 27th, Timothy Emanuele. And alongside 28th, Joey Mines. Justin Carey rolling off in the 29th position, and Justin Hendry going to be rounding out the top 30 here tonight. Mark Beverly rolling off in 31st. Daniel Worthington starting in the 32nd position. Justin Holt going to be rolling off in 33rd. Eric Hutton starting in that 34th spot. Zach Smith going to be rolling off in 35th. Eric Lambert going to be starting in 36th. Jordan Scheffler rolling off in 37th. And Nick Starling going to be rolling off in that 38th position. Kyle Payne is going to be rolling off in 39th. And Jordan Brockle rolling off in the 40th position. And rounding out the field today, Dennis Steele in 41st. So a huge field here tonight from Texas. It's going to keep things very interesting as we go to the front of the field here. Mr. Alex Pelican, the number 98 Ford Mustang, going to get the field rolling here. Alongside him, the 6 machine of Dallas Sullivan going to be leading the field to the green flag here for race number 2. Who do you have on your radar for the win here tonight? Who's your favorite driver? Give them a shout out in the chat. Let them know you're here and cheering for them. And we'll follow along with the fan favorites throughout the race, as we are about to get going here for the PrimeTime Sports Talk 200 from Texas and the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series pace car making its way out of turn number 4. And the field will be in the hands of Alex Pelican. Pace car makes that hard left-hand turn onto the pit lane, and we are about to get going under the lights from the Lone Star State. Green flag in the air, and we're underway. Alex Pelican gets him going. Great jump on the start, and he'll have the lead all to himself as the battle for second is going to start to rage on here down into turn number 1. It's between Seth Hatchell and Dallas Sullivan. Hatchell going to go to the inside and take that spot away. Already up into second position as we are 3 wide, just a little ways back here. They clear it up now 2 wide as they head down into turns 3 and 4. But Alan Dice up on the outside of the number 5 of Joshua Abbey, last week's winner, already up 2 spots through lap number 1. So he is looking to try and get up there and battle for this lead. As they're side by side up there in front of him, that's Stravato, who clears the number 31 of Cody Atkins, but the 31 back to the outside, not going to get the run. And here comes Safe Farias down to the inside, and he's going to take that spot away and move himself into the top 5. As things fairly settled out up towards the front and things a little bit more spaced out towards the rear. So you look back here, we still have some battles going on. The number 77 and the 7, that's Eric Hutton and Brett Somers, going side by side, 22nd, 23rd position. Everybody hanging on to it for right now. And there are a lot of race cars on the racetrack, and you can see just how far they're separated. This group already 8.6 seconds back, if not farther than that. So huge separation among the field already. And at the front, it's Alex Pelican still hanging on to it. Stravato has arrived. He looks to the inside of Seth Hatchell as they head down into turn number 3. And we'll bring up the ticker here so you can follow along with your favorite drivers. But already a few laps in the book. Alex Pelican has led them all, but he is under fire. The 48 of Stravato, big run down the front straightaway, and the 98, not going to throw the block, is now there side by side for the lead. Pelican hanging on up high, very hard to do in real life, but he's able to fight off Stravato, and he's going to clear himself going down into turn number 3. So the 98 hangs on to that top spot. Seth Hatchell losing ground now. He drops back into the 4th position as Safe Farias now to 3rd. Dallas Sullivan started outside front row. He's back to 5th already. So a little bit of mixing and matching up here in the top 5. As the rest of the field starting to reel them in. Cody Atkins, Jeff Pogo battling it out now side by side as Pogo peeks down to the inside here into turn number 3. He'll get alongside. The 31's just going to roll out of it and give him the position. Says to himself it's a little too early to battle, and he'll drop back to the 7th spot. As Joshua Abbey, we saw him gain a couple spots. He's lost those since the start. Currently in the 9th position where he started, as the battle for the lead still on. Stravato going to be able to get the push from Farias down into turn 3 as the 44 almost making contact with the 98. But Stravato going to put the 48 car out in front here at Texas, and that is a familiar sight if you are a NASCAR fan. That 48 car so dominant at Texas throughout the years. Seth Hatchell trying to find his way back up to the 44, not able to get alongside, but here comes Pelican back to the outside, and he is making that line work. And that's eventually going to become the defensive line to run 1 or 2 grooves up. It's going to be hard to make passes as these tires start to wear out, and you can see Pelican really diving it into the corner there. Big run out of turn number 2. Not sure how he was able to do that, but now we're 3 wide for the lead. The 44 of Farias down to the inside. And almost contact between Stravato and Pelican. 3 wide here in 3 and 4. Oh, there's contact. Pelican trying to hang on to it. Stravato gets into him, and they do all stay straight somehow. As Pelican, what a save there. The 48 of Stravato came up into him just a little bit. So they kind of ran out of room. They were going for the same spot. 98, great job, and nobody got into him. What a save. He leads the first 6 laps, now back into the 4th spot, and he should be thankful to not have lost more, but he does have some left side damage. And Servato falls to 5th with him. Still both of them in the top 5 after what looked like it could have ended in absolute disaster here in the first 10 laps. And the field fairly strung out as we see the 7, Brett Somers, look to the inside. It looks like he's side by side with the 49 of Jason Perkins. Somers a little bit off the pace, not sure what happened there, if he's trying to save something, but now he's under fire from Justin Hendry. And 7 looks like he's struggling a little bit with the handling of that race car. He's starting to go backwards, but Eric Hutton, Eric Gallion on the move forward. Hutton up to the 16th position after starting in 34th. So that 77 car definitely making his way through the field. Eric Gallion actually going the wrong way. He's back 5 spots right now. He's got a little bit of right rear damage, so gonna have to get that repaired if he can. But pretty amazing. We've got 41 drivers on the racetrack. Robin Hughes in the pit lane. He's got left side damage. Currently 2 laps off the pace, but everyone else on the lead lap. Right now at the tail end of the field, it's Eric Hawley. Not sure what happened to him, but it actually looks like he might have started from the pits, and along with him, Dan Dill. So both of these guys may be trying to avoid trouble, but in doing so, they're only a few seconds in front of your race leader. You can see him back there, Saif Farias, who's trying to outrun Seth Hatchell as they make their way down the back straightaway here on lap number 14. So 44 leading some more laps here. Every lap you're out in front, just giving yourself a better opportunity to win the race, but also you earn some bonus points by leading a lap here, as well as potentially leading the most laps. You get bonus points for that, as well as we've got battles raging back here between Pelican and Pogo. They head down into turn number 3. This is where the 98 had the contact with Stravato as he pinches down the 24 this time. But I think Alex is going to start to struggle here with the aerodynamics. With that left side damage, we'll see how he does as the run progresses. But Jeff Pogo able to take that spot away, as now the battle between John Mullins and Alex Pelican. Behind them, Jeremiah Vincent and Cody Adkins. Pelican almost got to the outside to make it 3 wide there, but he instead lines it up with the 24. It's going to allow Jeremiah Vincent now to the inside. As a big run by John Mullins, he's going to try and take away the 5th position. And the top 4 have broken away from these guys. And Seth Hatchell, the only one really in shouting distance of Saif Farias. So exciting start to this race. The PrimeTime Sports Talk 200. As Seth Hatchell trying to chase down your leader. And that's the gap right there. First and second, just under 0.4 of a second. Seth Hatchell right down along that white line as caution is out on the racetrack. And let's see if we can figure out what happened here. Justin Hendry, big damage. Let's go back and see what happened to Justin. Incredibly hard hit as he got really messed up there on the apron. Then the 13 machine comes down and takes him out. Big wreck there. Brett Somers involved. A few other cars go spinning. That's the 21 machine. Justin Carey hard into the inside wall. The 70 of Lyle Sulfridge also involved. Let's see if we can go to an overhead view here. Get a better look at this. So the 5 of Joshua Abbey, big problems there. It looks like the 85 of Hendry was trying to avoid him, ends up making a little contact with him, trying to hang on to it. The 13 also got a little loose behind him. Big contact. There's Somers, Lyle Sulfridge, and Justin Carey were just on their way into it. Big contact for both of them. That's going to end the day of the number 70. And then Justin Carey, let's see if we can go on board with him during all this. Oh, missed it. He just barely clipped the 70 and then smacks the inside wall with that left side. It's going to be heavy contact. Justin's going to have to work to get that fixed, and he takes it straight to the pit box as our field working their way onto the pit lane. And we'll see if anyone actually elected to stay out. Does not look like it. But just 20 laps in, huge contact for a bunch of these drivers. Right now it's showing Timothy Emanuele, your leader. And it looks like the number 25 of Eric Holly brought it down the pit lane. And I'm not sure exactly what's going on. He was on the pit lane, took fuel or 2 tires, and currently out in front, but he's on the tail end of the lead lap. We saw him start on the pit lane at the beginning of this race. Also the 311 of Justin Holt. Right here behind him. So those guys both on the tail end of the lead lap, and it looks like Timothy Emanuele bringing it down the pit lane here, so he's going to surrender the lead. He was just looking to lead a lap, it appears, and Jeff Pogo going to take away the top spot with a 10-second pit stop, and I'm thinking that is a 2-tire stop. And let's see if we get a word in here. Actually, Alex Pelican currently back in 20th position. I was going to say, we see if we could get a word in with Alex. Actually, let's see if we can find someone. We'll talk with Eric Hutton. He has made his way through the field here. See if we can pull him up into the booth. Eric Hutton, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Eric, you're already the biggest mover in the race so far. Looks like you got a very fast number 77 machine. How's the car feeling for you? And, how have you been able to make up so much ground so early?
Yeah, I don't know, something happened to the inside line right on the initial start, so I made up a lot of spots there, and really just kind of, you got to find the right time to pass a guy, because you can't just power out of a corner, so just keeping your momentum up and trying to watch out for people and make your way to the front, save those tires a little bit, and hopefully at this run we can focus more on saving than passing, and see if we can get a little bit farther.
Yes, sir, and you've already made up a big portion that you need to get towards the front, but we've seen some guys wiggling and struggling out there early. Is the car pretty loose, or what are you experiencing out there?
Yeah, depending on how you drive 1 and 2, it can be a little loose off. If you take an easier entry, you can really control the car rotates a lot more on exit. So I think it just depends on how you take the corners, but pretty neutral overall, I'd say.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's been some exciting racing here in the first 20 laps. Obviously, you're quick, and we wish you luck with the rest of the race, and thanks for taking a little time here to answer a couple questions.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, so that was Eric Hutton, the number 77. Move him back down in with his teammate, I believe. I got to figure out where he was. He was down here with Stravato. Hopefully he can find his way. But Eric Hutton up 25 positions so far. It's the biggest mover of the race. As right now, Jeff Pogo, your leader, Safe Farias, who was your leader, coming into the pits First driver on 4 tires. We've got a couple up in the mix here with 2. So Pogo with 2 tires. Dylan Teal, the 78 on your scoring pylon, 19 on track here. At Tracker Boats Camry, he has taken 2 tires as well, and I don't see anybody else that took 2. So we have a few cars taking the wave around now. And we would talk with Justin, but I think he's probably as upset as anybody, and I don't think he is at the computer right now. But pace car lights are off. We're going to be going green here momentarily. So it's nice to hear from Eric how the race car is handling, and we saw it in practice with drivers struggling coming out of turn number 2. But no real issues with that in the race. I think the pace is down just a little from qualifying. Once you get a little heat in the tires, it can be a little bit easier to get around these racetracks. As about to go green once again. That was the first caution of the night. We almost had one very early on between Alexander Pelican and AJ Stravato. That was a close call, but great save. Great saves all around there as Pogo with control of the field. He's going to get going here. Green flag back in the air. Safe Faria is not as good a jump, but I think he's going to be able to hang on to second as he drops down in front of Seth Hatchell now, headed down into turn number 1, and you can see the spacing already pretty significant among a lot of these groups of race cars. Looking on with Dallas Sullivan here, outside pole sitter for tonight's race. He's got the 4 machine of Josiah Vincent right there behind him. Eric Hutton lost a couple spots on the restart, but we'll see if he can get that momentum headed in the right direction. As Jeff Pogo, though, going to try and hang on, hold off the 44 of Farias, who's all over the back bumper down here in 1 and 2, and Pogo not able to get to the white line. The 44 almost gets into him, and that's going to allow Seth Hatchell to get a nice big run down the back straightaway. He lines it up with the 44, gives him the shove down into turn 3, and that's going to leave the 24 out there on the outside, a sitting duck. As Hatchell now going to take over that second position, and here comes the 64 of Mullins. He'll get to the inside before the 24 can clear himself, and the 24 is going to go from first now back to 4th, maybe even 5th, with Jeremiah Vincent coming to the inside. As Faria's big slide out of turn 2, we saw him struggling with that in the qualifying session, and that's going to open up the door for Seth Hatchell, who chooses to stay in behind him rather than taking the high line through 3 and 4. But that stacks up about the top 6 race cars, if not more than that. Actually, about 10 cars, 15 cars in a line as they head down into turn number 1. Seth Hatchell putting the pressure all over Safe Farias. Looks to the inside, but not going to get the speed just yet. Mullins going to go to the outside of the number 8 as the 44 shuts the door. Or not quite. That leaves about a lane open. Here comes Hatchell to the inside. He wants to lead a lap here, get that bonus point. He had a nice solid finish at Daytona. But the battle is on between Hatchell and Farias. And Hatchell now going to take that spot away. Here comes Mullins to the inside. The 44 not in the preferred lane right now. Yes, sir, Fluffy Jr., I'm sure. A lot of people want to hear from crash drivers, but it's not often the best thing to do. Had that discussion with somebody last week. And when they're pretty upset, you often want to let them simmer down, so maybe at some point we'll do that. Here is the battle for second, really hot and heavy. Seth Hatchell loves what he's seeing, and he's able to stretch that car out to about a 3-car length lead as they head through 3 and 4. And Mullins catches the apron a little bit, but able to keep the speed up. And here comes Jeremiah Vincent looking to try and make it 3 wide. No, he elects to run in the low line here. And everybody pulling draft off of the number 8 machine of Seth Hatchell, which is not actually allowing him to get that far out in front. The gap's still about 3 car lengths as the 64, a big run down on the inside. You two still fighting side by side as he tries to pinch up into the 44. A little contact there. That's going to allow Mullins to actually clear himself into second. But here comes Farias trying to pull a crossover. He gives him the bumper down the straightaway. A big push towards Seth Hatchell, who's able to hang on to the spot for now. But I don't think the 44 is all that happy with getting shoved out of the way like that. So we ride on board here with Eric Hutton, the number 77 machine, up 26 spots as he sees the 4 machine of Josiah Vincent jump a little bit from the low line to the middle line. These top 10 or so all in line. Zach Smith back here. You see Pogo really struggling out of the corner. He's going to lose a lot of momentum. That allows the 6 of Dallas Sullivan and this train of race cars to get to the inside. So Pogo, a mistake there out of turn number 2 is going to cost him some more positions. And the other driver to take 2 tires, Dylan Teal, he is also struggling. Restarted 5th. He's back to 15th right now. So really struggling in that Tracker Boats Toyota Camry as he gets passed up by Brandon Vasquez. And here comes another one, the 22 of Chris Wheeler. It goes right on by. Here comes Lane Sulfridge. And now Alan Dice down to the inside. Let's check in with last week's winner, Joshua Abbey, who's got a bit of damage from that initial wreck. And he is back to 22nd. We saw him up in the mix in the top 10. As caution out on the racetrack, the 13, the 95. Or rather, that could be the 85. Nope. The 21. And that's going to end Justin Carey's day. I'm not sure what happened. Let's go take a look. Justin Carey, see him racing alongside the 311 to head down into turn number 3. He gets hit by the 14, gets T-boned by the 3 of Lambert, and he gets sent into the wall, catches the 81 machine of Dan Dill, who's able to hang on to it. But Eric Lambert with some heavy nose damage. Let's go take a look from his perspective here. See the contact there and nowhere to go. And that's going to be painful. That's going to be an issue. As, let's see, the number 14, that's Thomas Brendel. Another view of this. He really dove it in there, just missed that bottom line, and I think Justin expected him to be closer to the bottom. And man, big contact for a lot of these guys. And Eric Lambert, Justin Carey, and others involved going to have some big problems as we see those guys bring it down the pit lane. A few elect to stay out, including your leader Seth Hatchell in second place, Safe Farias. John Mullins elects to stay out. He was making some progress there, now up to 3rd from the 14th starting position. And Jeremiah Vincent, Dallas Sullivan rounding out your top 5 right now. We're going to cut to commercial break once again, and we will be right back with the green flag.
I'm Jonathan Proper, CEO of Drops.com, and I'm here to give you the naked truth about laundry. Size does not matter when it comes to laundry. Let's start with jugs. It's big all right, messy too, and expensive. You know why? Lots of plastic, lots of water, shipped all over the country, from factory to warehouse to retailer. That's what you're paying for. It's a dinosaur, and we all know dinosaurs are extinct. Meet our imitators. This is your average detergent pod. It has 20 plus chemicals with names nobody can pronounce. Nice colors. I hope they don't stain. I know color doesn't clean. Would you take a bath in either of these? No way. That's why we developed Drops. Drops is dye-free, MPE-free, phosphate-free, animal cruelty-free. So free, it's freaking awesome. We make Drops with only 6 safe ingredients, certified by the EPA. Drops is tough on dirt, but gentle enough for baby skin. It's so gentle, I'm taking a bath in it. Doing laundry with Drops is hard to up. 1 drop equals 1 load. Now, can we talk about my package? 100% recyclable. Manufacturing drops ourselves and distributing directly helps us cut out the middleman and reduce transportation costs. With delivery plans as low as $4 a month, the average family can save $100 a year. Hello? What are you saying? The cleanest clothes at the lowest price? You're damn right it's a great deal. Thanks for calling. Shipping is always free. You choose the product and plan that's right for you, and we'll drop drops at your door. The naked truth is that Drops makes laundry better and life easier. Every Drops counts, saving money, plastic, water, and time. So go to drops.com. The first one's on us.
Big shout out to Drops, drops.com. Check them out. The link in our chat there. You can save 15% by using the code you see, and you can use our link and help support the channel here. But a great product, and I love that commercial. And we want to thank you all once again for joining in for watching the race tonight here. This is the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series, race number 2 from Texas. And tonight's race brought to you by PrimeTime Sports Talk. We'll put their information in the chat as well. National sports outlet covering all 4 major sports, college sports, and more. You can learn more at primetimesportstalk.com or on Twitter at TalkPrimetime. A big thank you to those guys for sponsoring tonight's race. And the NASCAR Brawl podcast just released their first podcast of the year, featuring Mike Post, the postman from MRN Radio, the voice of NASCAR. Those guys, the best in the business, and Mike Post, one of the most recognizable names on that program. So very cool to have them, or to have him on their podcast, and they have some big time guests coming up here in the future. And so let's do a quick recap of the race so far. 2 cautions, 5 lead changes, and right now your leader is Seth Hatchell, who's been out front here for a little bit. These 2 cautions, the first one involving Justin Hendry and the number, I believe it was the 14. Oh, no, 14 was involved in the second wreck here. The first one was Hendry and Alex Pelican. Nope, not Alex Pelican. Either way, I know the 85 was involved. I believe it was the 13. Yes, it was 13. Jordan Shepler was also involved. That's who it was. And Hendry back on the racetrack, 19 laps down, but he's got that car rolling again. So good on him to keep it out here and continuing to try and make some progress. And every position means a point, so whatever you can earn here in the early parts of this season can help set you up to make the playoffs later on, as the field side by side getting ready to come back and take the green once again. Almost 40 laps into this race already, and 140 laps at around 150 miles, or a mile and a half racetrack. Getting my numbers and words all mixed up here. 140 laps, a 1.5 mile racetrack here, Texas Motor Speedway, located in Fort Worth. Used to be one of my favorite racetracks. This reconfiguration, I have not had a lot of experience on it. I know some people like it, some people don't. But either way, it is much more difficult than it used to be. And the groove is much narrower than it used to be, especially in turns 1 and 2. Pace car makes its way onto the pit lane. Seth Hatchell gets him going. Green flag back in the air. Safe area is not a great jump. He's going to have John Mullins all over the inside of that race car. And then the 6 of Dallas Sullivan making his way back towards the front. We saw him fall to the back half of the top 10 after starting on the front row. And Mullins slips way up the racetrack. That's going to allow the 44 back to the inside. So the crossover move through turns 1 and 2. And behind them, Stravado has made his way back towards the front. Jeremiah Vincent right there behind him. Eric Hutton hanging out in the top 10. We've already talked to him once today. And Eric, I believe, finished dead last week. That number 77 machine. So he's looking for a better run, and he is having it here at Texas Motor Speedway. Let's see if we can jump on here with a few other cars. Jeff Pogo going 3 wide. And he did bring it to pit lane here and took another 2 tires, it looks like. But he's going to be in behind Joey Mines, the number 20 machine, as he tries to look to the inside, going down into the corner here. Dylan Teal up on the outside, and those two both pitted. Teal, though, taking 4 tires, so he goes to the outside here. Pogo, big run out of turn 2. Bit of a wiggle, though. As they head down into turn 3, he's got a huge head of steam, and I think he's going to be able to clear him here. He does. So they make their way through 3 and 4, but at the front, the battle for the lead is on, and Safe Faria is now taking that away from Seth Hatchell, who looks back to the outside. Not going to have the run as he brings it now down to the white line. Going to try and carry some speed on the exit. But about the top 10 here, nose to tail, as Jeremiah Vincent looking to the inside, or actually Josiah Vincent was looking to the inside of Jeremiah Vincent, rather. As that battle for the 4th and 5th position, Dallas Sullivan, AJ Stravato duking it out there, as the 48's going to win the battle for the moment. But here comes the 6 with a big run on the outside, and not going to be able to make it happen, as here comes Vincent to the inside now. And that high line so difficult to make work, as here comes the 13 of Scheffler back onto the racetrack. See the 25 machine of Eric Holly starting to make some ground up. He went by the 84 of Brockle. Brockle hanging back here in the 24th spot. He started second to last on the field, and didn't have the best luck last week. Got involved in an accident. Took him out early, as we're nearly 4 wide. The 39 of Timothy Emanuele able to squeeze by Joey Mines, as they are really racing it up back here. This is exciting stuff. You can see Nick Starling, the 32 machine, trying to reel him in. And Nick, of course, one of the hosts of the NASCAR Brawl podcast, as he's sporting that on the hood and V-Speed on the sides, and that number 32 Ford Mustang. And Michael Newman right there behind him. We saw Michael hang at the back at Daytona and charge his way up through the field to be close to the front at the end. I believe he got out of there with a pretty solid finish, as the 39 of Emanuele way up the racetrack. He's going to lose a bit of momentum here and drop back behind Michael Newman, or at least alongside, as they make their way down into turn number 1. Let's go up a little bit farther here. Zach Smith, one of the admins here, or racing for Team Brawl, trying to find his way up towards the top 10. He's in 14th position right now. You can see the field right there in front of him. Eric Gallion with a little bit of right rear damage that he's had since the early laps of this race. He's fighting out side by side with Jason Perkins, the 49, losing a bit of ground. 33 able to carry that momentum up high. And here goes Zach, going to jump to the outside lane as well. They head down into the corner side by side. And it looks like he stepped a little bit sideways there, almost made contact with the wall. And here comes Dylan Teal, who pitted along with Jeff Pogo, and Dylan is making a lot of progress. He's up in the top 10, going to take it 3 wide around Sullivan and Pelican, and he's going to make it work. Try and get up in. Now goes to the inside of Cody Adkins, so he is making that 19 machine. And those fresh tires worked for him. He got on the apron there, able to hang on to it, and able to hold off Cody Adkins for the moment. He's got a little ways to go to get to the front. Speaking of at the front, Safe Farias once again leading the way. He's led 22 out of the 49 laps. Seth Hatchell right there behind him. has led 14 laps, and Stravato behind them has led 2. So the majority of the laps led among those drivers. A few throughout the field have led a few more. As Stravato starts to reel these 2 in once again. And John Mullins lost a bit of ground on this run. He restarted in the 3rd spot. He's back to 7th after getting passed up now by Eric Hutton. But that pass not yet complete. It's Hutton on the inside in 3 and 4 here, trying to complete that pass. And here comes Dylan Teal right up behind them. So he almost looked to take it 3 wide, backs out of it. And I believe Hutton's going to have that position as they roll down into turns 1 and 2 here. The 64 right alongside. Here comes Teal as he tries to squeeze in there and throw his name in the ring. He's going to go look low on Eric Hutton. But didn't have the run just yet. Now might take a peek down there. Hutton shuts the door. And the 64 back to the outside. So 3-way battle there just outside the top 5. And Dylan Teal up about 15 spots on this restart and absolutely making headway as he rolls right up behind Eric Hutton. So the strategy to pit and take tires might pay off here as the rest of the field with about 13 or so laps at the time of that caution. Now let's see where Eric Lambert is. He's currently 2 laps down, well off the pace here, as you would expect, but still trying to put some laps down in the 36th position, right where he started. So unfortunately, he was caught up in that, one of the fan favorites here. We'll see if he can get some more of that damage fixed, maybe even get a couple laps back with a couple quick cautions here. But not in a good spot right now. Let's take a look at this group of race cars. Brandon Vasquez leading, Alan Dice, Chris Wheeler, and others. As this is the pack that was racing up just a little while ago. Timothy Emanuele back here in the 22nd spot. He's got a little ways to go to catch up to Lane Sulfridge and Jordan Brockle. It looks like we got a bit of a gap now among all these race cars. It's a little car down on the apron here, Joey Mines. And he seems to be struggling once again as this run progresses. He has been all over the place, really trying to hang on to that race car. So we'll see if he can get any handle on it here as the laps wear on, but it's not appear that way as the battle for the lead is raging on. Safe Faria is up on the high line, Seth Hatchell down low. Hatchell's going to beat him to the line. The number 8 V-Speed Camaro finding its way to the front once again. Seth, known to be a long-run driver, as the 44, though, trying to pull a crossover, looking to get down on the inside, and he is going to get back to the quarter panel. And they're not going to work the side draft or anything, and no funny business here as the 44 takes that away. Hatchell drops back in behind him. We'll see if he can pull the same move off as they head down the front straightaway here. Hatchell going to get right back to the bumper and not going to be able to get to the inside as the top 4 have broke it away. And Josiah Vincent a little ways back as he is being chased down by Eric Hutton. And nearly 40 laps on most of these drivers' tires and fuel. And 70% fuel load in these race cars. I think that's going to mean they pit in the next 15 laps or so, except for the drivers that already have pitted. Dylan Teal, Jeff Pogo back here in 11th place. He's actually made some significant progress. Not quite what Teal has, but still up about 10 positions since that restart as he looks to the inside of Cody Adkins. Not going to have the run just yet. As we're approaching lap number 60, it's Hatchell out in front, but the battle continues to rage on for this top spot. Behind them, it looks like Jeremiah Vincent has taken that position away from Stravato. And the more these two battle, the more everyone reels them in. And we'll have about 8 cars under a blanket. As these top two continuing to race it up side by side here in the lap car. Hendry going to slow up Hatchell. Justin Hendry well off the pace. That's going to play a factor here later in this race if those guys can't get their cars up to speed a little bit more. That allows Jeremiah Vincent to second place, and Stravato trying to take third away, but not going to have the run. Hatchell will secure that spot. As they're starting to reel in, that looks like Eric Lambert up here in front of them. Not as far off the pace as the 85, but still well off the pace as the leader's now going to shuffle right on past him. Jeremiah Vincent now in the position to try and chase down the 44, and Seth Hatchell, huge run out of turn 2. You can see how fast he is. Does he make any kind of move? Just gives an air push to the number 9 machine of Vincent. As he looks now to the inside coming out of turn number 4, he'll put the nose of the Budweiser Camaro to the inside. Not going to have the run to get to the lead just yet. But now he goes down to the inside and looks like he'll take that spot away. The 44 doesn't have anything for him, and Jeremiah Vincent to the top spot. As we're going to see if anyone's taken a pit stop here. It looks like nobody has brought it down just yet, but 43 laps on this stint, which means we're going to be closing in on those green flag pit stops, and a nice run going here. It's just the 2 cautions this race, and we're approaching halfway, and the halfway point also awards a bonus point, I believe. Oh, that is incorrect. There is no point awarded for leading it halfway. That's actually in the Virtual Racing League where they do that system. Right now, Jeremiah Vincent leading Seth Hatchell and Safe Farias, as well as AJ Stravato. Servato going to try and take away that third spot now, and here comes Eric Hutton, who's fought his way up into the top 5, and the patience helping out the 77 here as he goes to the inside of the 44. Looks like he's going to try and take that spot away down here on the other end of the racetrack. But a huge march for Hutton, who is up 29 positions in this race, and we talked with him during the first caution. He was already up 25 spots at that point. And Dylan Teal starting to struggle a bit here. Not sure what's going on, but he has lost a few spots as now Alex Pellick and John Mullins have gone on by. And here comes Jeff Pogo, who also pitted during that cycle. And nobody bringing it to pit lane just yet, trying any kind of crazy strategy. I think if they can go far enough here on this run, they can make it on just this one more stop. So I think that's probably going to be the goal for many of these drivers, as a lot of drivers now inside the top 20 within fighting distance, actually the top 15 rather. Dallas Sullivan in that 15th spot. He currently rides 5.5 seconds back, but that's quite a few race cars within a 5.5 second margin. Really your top 4 fighting it out for position, and then 5th through 15th under a blanket as well. Jeremiah Vincent, though, really stretching it out now, 0.8 of a second, as he has saved the tires on that race car. It looks like he is putting the power down at the most effective time, and driving away from Seth Hatchell, who is driven away from Stravato, who is under fire from Eric Hutton. That 77 car looking extremely strong. Safe Faria is now onto the pit lane along with Justin Holt. The 44 actually rolling off pit lane as he is one of the first drivers right at the halfway point, bringing it to the pit lane. We'll see if that leads to any of these other drivers bringing it down. Jeremiah Vincent hanging on to that top spot. We're going to go green flag side by side, and we will be right back.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with V-Speed. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at V-Speed Sim. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
I believe we just had an accident. We're going to go take a look. Caution is out on the speedway during the middle of the pit cycle. Let's go see what happened. All right, let's see where things went wrong here. I think possibly involving the 84. Or it might have been the 49. We're going to go on board with him. I think we saw some issues for Jason. But he brought it onto the pit lane. Having a hard time tracking down what happened here. Oh, Joshua Abbey possibly. I don't know why he keeps taking us to Mr. Brockle here. Well, I'm not sure. It looks like an engine blown on the 81. Dan Dill. I don't know if that would bring out the yellow. I'm not sure. Maybe we can get a little bit of word from one of the drivers in the race, and apologize for that, but I was not able to find it. But caution out on the speedway. During the pit cycle, so that's really going to mess some things up. A few drivers bringing it down now. Brett Somers showing as your leader. Jeremiah Vincent has brought it down, so he will cycle back through as the leader. So actually not too much of an issue for the guys at the front, but some drivers really affected by this. It's going to be Safe Farias, who's going to be cycled all the way back to the 14th position here and not going to be able to put on any tires. Okay, so the 12 car, Michael Newman with the issue there. Let's go back and take a look. So a 12 car. See if we get a better look at what happened here. Fast forward to where the incident occurred. Oh, coming out of turn 2, we see him right there losing control, slams that wall, and that is what brought out the caution. He had just taken tires on. Those fresh tires seem to be very, very slippery. And Michael Newman going around, that's going to bring out that third caution as he is sitting on the pit road and attempting to get damage repaired on that race car. Jeremiah Vincent going to cycle through as your leader. And a few drivers taking that wave around. That's going to be Alan Dice, Joey Mines, Dallas Sullivan, Alex Pelican, Nick Starling looks like he's up there and going to have to take the wave around as well. I think Nick actually showing still one lap down. So probably just very bad timing on the pit cycle and a caution there. And once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in. You can check V-Speed out on these other platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Facebook at facebook.com/VSpeedSim. We post our race announcements before each and every broadcast over there. So go give us a like, give us a follow on that platform, and you can stay up to date with what's happening throughout the week. You can find race replays over on YouTube at V-Speed Media, where we post race post previous races. You can see last week's race over there from Daytona, the season opener, as well as any other race we've ever broadcast here on Twitch. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at VSpeedSim, where we post race announcements as well as other interesting automotive and racing content. So check us out on all those platforms. Give us a like or follow. We really appreciate it. And we thank you again for tuning in here on Twitch for tonight's broadcast. And if you have not followed or subscribed here, please consider doing so. Helps us out a lot. And we appreciate everyone who's followed so far. We're up over that 300 mark, well over that 300 mark that we were aiming for the giveaway of a V-Speed t-shirt. And we're going to be doing that giveaway next week. So check us out on Twitter to find out more details about that here in the next coming days. So that'll be pretty cool. One of the viewers here will win a t-shirt. We're going to do, I think we're actually going to do a couple, one for the Virtual Racing League broadcast, as well as the broadcast next week for the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series. And thanks for tuning in, Mayo. Appreciate it. Also, you can to the last point about following or subscribing, you can attach or connect your Amazon Prime to Twitch, and you get one free subscription every month. You can use that here on VSpeed or wherever you'd like, and we would really appreciate it. As the green flag back in the air, and Jeremiah Vincent leading Eric Hutton and Seth Hatchell. Is Hutton able to get down to the inside and hold off that charge from Hatchell? But a good restart for those top three as they break away from the battle for fourth position between Stravato and now Jeff Pogo up into fifth, fighting with Josiah Vincent. Thank you, The Real Mail, for the subscription. Appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for your support. And hope you're enjoying the race as they're all lined up now. The top 8 drivers with Dylan Teal, who was starting to go backwards during that or right up until that pit cycle, is we have a caution, the 32. Nick Starling, I believe, involved in this one. Heavy contact for the 32 and others. Let's go take a look as we have another caution here. Cautions reading cautions, as they say. Oh, and it happened up in front of him, the 22 of Chris Wheeler. Not sure what happened to Chris here. He got very loose going into turn 3, trying to save that thing, and ended up going the wrong way. And Nick Starling looked like he was trying to make an evasive maneuver, but that did not work out for him. See, oh, he could not really see in the smoke. He saw a car down in the grass, so hard to see. Wheeler, though, right there in front of him. And Nick, man, straight into the back, and that's going to probably end the night of the 32. He brings it to the pit lane. It's still running. The 33 of Eric Gallion also smoking here, so I think he was involved. See if we can get a look at what happened to Eric. Oh, later incident between him and Mullins. Oh, as he went to the inside, he went through the grass, and looks like he got into Mullins, and they go around the 64 and the 33. Heavy contact for both drivers. So a second incident occurring as a result of the evasive maneuver in the 33. I don't think that happy. The 64 probably not too happy himself. He was just riding along, and all of a sudden the 33 comes up out of the grass right there into him. Although the 64 didn't give him a whole lot of room to rejoin, and I'm not sure what happened. You know, but definitely not what either of those drivers needed right there, and it's going to be significant damage on both race cars. As Jeremiah Vincent showing the way. He has led 19 laps here when he took the lead away from Hatchell and Farias. He just drove away and held on to it through the pit cycle, so he remains out in front. We'll see if we can pull somebody up into the booth here as we take a look at our race recap. 4 cautions, 9 lead changes. Right now, Jeremiah Vincent showing out in front. I want to talk with Mr. Dylan Teal if he elects to stay out here. And he does. We'll see if we can pull him into the booth. If he's in here. Does not look like it. Let's see if we can get a word in with Dallas Sullivan, outside pole sitter here, if he is in the booth or in the chat here. He is racing for a Loaded Dice Racing. We're gonna see if we can pull him up here. Dallas Sullivan, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Dallas, you started on the front row here tonight, and it's been kind of up and down for you in this first half, but you find yourself in 21st, got a bit of ground to make up. How's the car handling for you? What's your strategy here for these next 60 laps?
Yeah, so the car's been great tonight. Just trying to keep it all in one piece through this race. Try to short pit a little bit on that last exchange, and of course the caution came out in the middle of that cycle, so got a little bit of ground to make up, like you said. Still got plenty of laps left, and gonna give it our best try here.
Yes, sir. And you've had speed. We saw you kind of fade a little bit early on, but then you climb back up into the top 5, so obviously the car is there for you. But how is it handling here tonight, and you know, what were your expectations, I guess, coming in?
Yeah, I was hoping, felt like I had about top 10 speed through practice. Turned a lot of practice laps coming into this, so I'm pretty familiar with how the car is on the long run. So handling pretty good, like these nighttime conditions. So we'll see how it plays out over the next 60 laps here.
Yes, sir, and we'll follow along with you and see if you can charge your way back up there into contention. But thanks for taking a couple seconds here to talk with us, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
All right, that was Dallas Sullivan, the number 6 machine, as we were going to drag him back down in with his team. Way down there. I'll move him to that team, actually. That's a little bit easier. So you heard him there. He practiced a bit, had a pretty good feel for the race car, and obviously very quick in qualifying and very quick in the early stages of this race. But it's been up and down in the strategy to pit a little early, catching him off. Out in front, Jeremiah Vincent, he's happy to see these caution laps, as every lap that passes gives him a better chance of making it on fuel, and also more time to lead some laps. But we're going to cut to another quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back with the green flag.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Right back after that message from Butt Kicker. Great products, go check them out. And also want to bring up again, tonight's race brought to you by PrimeTime Sports Talk. This is the PrimeTime Sports Talk 200 from Texas Motor Speedway. Go check them out. PrimeTime Sports Talk, a national sports outlet covering all 4 major sports, college sports, and much more. So learn more about them at primetimesportstalk.com. Check them out on Twitter at TalkPrimeTime. Appreciate them sponsoring tonight's race. Hope that they're enjoying if they're tuned in here. And we are about to get going here. Pace car makes that hard left onto the pit lane. Waiting for the green flag to come back out, and Jeremiah Vincent gets the field back going. Eric Hutton, a good restart. Looks like he'll be able to hang on to second position here. He drops down in front of Hatchell, who gets a little bit of contact with Stravato. Back there in row number 2. Stravato going to lose some ground. Hatchell maybe going to have some right side damage now. But he gets a good run out of turn 2. Goes to the inside of Hutton. Going to try and put some pressure on your leader, Jeremiah Vincent. His contact into the corner. Hatchell trying to hang on to it. He gets down on the apron, and he is going to be able to save it. Going to have to try and merge up into the field, so big loss of track position. But he's still got the race car, and kind of disastrous restart there for the 8. As he got involved with Eric Hutton. Let's see if we can go back and see exactly what happened going into the corner here. As, I think the 77 just kind of followed the 9. And Hatchell was about a half groove off the yellow, or off the white line rather, and it just ended up in disastrous. Caution back on the speedway. 39 of Emanuele involved in this incident with Kyle Payne and others, it appears. So let's go see what happened. Cautions breeding cautions here around the midpoint of this race. Pretty complicated incident. They were almost 4 wide here. You see Emanuele up on the high line as he was racing it up with the 28 and the 6. And we just talked with Dallas Sullivan, who was able to squeeze on past that. But 28 avoiding the 6 there, and then coming up into Emanuele and many others involved. The 12, the 7, the 28. Let's see who else. 22 of Wheeler. 20 of Joey Mines. As they're all trying to get going. Eric Lambert able to just barely avoid that. See if we can go to the nose cam here with Wheeler and see what he saw. Not really anywhere to go. He wasn't able to get on the brakes at that point in the corner. As a bit of a messy restart there, but Seth Hatch will probably happy to see that. It's going to give him a chance to get some damage fixed, kind of refocus. And he put some fresh tires on it as well. And many other drivers not electing to come to pit lane. He should be one of the first drivers on fresh tires. And Jeremiah Vincent going to hang on to that top spot. Eric Lambert back here. He's gained about 8 spots by remaining on the racetrack. Still just 2 laps down. And potentially a lucky dog there. I'm not exactly sure. It kind of appears that way. He drops in behind Seth Hatchley here. I think Lambert, recipient of the lucky dog. So that's a break there for him, and a few other drivers with heavy damage from that incident gonna, potentially be spots for him to make up. So the 28 machine, the gear wrench car, let's see who that is. Dennis Steele. He brings it down to the pit lane once again. He started dead last in the field tonight. He's got some pretty significant right side damage on that race car as he attempts to get some more of that repaired. Nice long pace laps here, so he should be able to get a good amount fixed before he's going to have to go back on track. But shown right now in the 25th spot with some other drivers making their way around. Chris Wheeler. He's lost the hood on that race car, and luckily he still has the nose and the tail. But he's going to have quite a bit of work to do to get that car in racing condition once again. Oh, we kept the sponsor up that whole time, but so we are working under caution once again. That's the 5th caution of the night. 9 lead changes as Jeremiah Vincent continues to show the way. 27 laps led. That's going to put him right up near the top with Safe Farias and Seth Hatchell, who have both led, I believe, over 20 laps. And Eric Hutton, we've mentioned him many times. He's made a huge move towards the front here in this race, as I believe pace car lights are still on. So we are going to cut to commercial break once again, and we'll be right back with the green flag. field working their way through turns 3 and 4. About to get us back underway here at Texas Motor Speedway. And just under 50 laps remaining in this race. We've had 5 cautions, but green flag back in the air, and Jeremiah Vincent gets us going once again. Eric Hutton gonna hang on to second, it looks like, but the 4 of Josiah Vincent, a good restart, almost got the nose in there. He's not gonna be able to do it just yet, as Hutton now to the second position sets his sights on your leader as he's gone from nearly the back of the pack up to fighting for the lead now. Definitely been watching his progression throughout this race. Dallas Sullivan also making his way back up through, as well as Safe Farias, who find themselves inside the top 15 with some ground to make up. Seth Hatchell back here in the 20th spot. He's got a little bit of work to do, and he's going to have to be very careful tiptoeing his way through this field to get up there into contention at the front. Up into 19th position now. Long ways to go. As at the front, Hutton all over the back bumper of Vincent for the lead. We head down into turn 1 to 9 with a defensive entry. That's going to allow the 77 to kind of roll a higher entry and get a better run out of the corner as he gets right onto the back bumper. The top 4, 5, 6, 10 cars, nose to tail, making their way down the back straightaway through turns 3 and 4. The top 2 break away by about 2 car lengths over Josiah Vincent, who leads that smaller group of cars inside the top 10 here. And we'll see if Josiah can start to reel him back in. Dylan Teal, who we called out earlier, he was a little bit off strategy and made up a lot of ground during one of the previous runs. He's up here fighting inside the top 10 and definitely has some speed here tonight. Just needs to get a little better positioning and be able to maintain those tires, as he's under fire now from Zach Smith, who looks to the inside for that 8th position. Number 1 car going to the inside, and he is going to take that position away. Here comes Safe Farias, now going to try and fight to get in the top 10 as he goes alongside Mark Beverly, who we haven't talked much about, but Mark, he's been up here inside the top 20, I believe, all race, and right now in the 11th spot as he throws a block on Joshua Abbey, last week's winner, who brings Jordan Brockle and Dallas Sullivan along with him. They make their way past Wes Weigand, who is in that 15th position. 84 Brockle a little bit out of the groove here. That's going to allow Sullivan to look to the inside and try and take that spot away, as we've got a battle up here. That was for about 6th and 7th, I believe. Actually, rather, that was Eric Holly, Zach Smith. We're trying to hold off a hard-charging Safe Farias, who's now back into the 9th position, and he led a bunch of this race. He is fighting so hard to make his way back up there, makes his way past Zach Smith this time through 1 and 2, sets his sights on the 25 of Eric Holly. But at the front, leaders making their way past some lap traffic. It's still Eric Hutton, Jeremiah Vincent fighting for that top spot, with Vincent having control right now. He's about 2/10 out in front of the 77, and Josiah Vincent just another 10th or so behind. And it's going to get harder and harder to make passes as the race progresses. Oldest tires on the racetrack are Safe Farias, the number 44, but he is making his way forward. There's almost contact there between Zach Smith and Eric Holly. They continue to race on inside the top 10. That's going to allow Dylan Teal to get a big run down the front straightaway, but not able to get to the back bumper of Smith. Jeff Pogo now side by side with Cody Adkins, and they are racing it up behind AJ Scrivato, who's been up in the mix almost the entire race. At the front, Jeremiah Vincent continues to hold on to that top spot, but Eric Hutton trying some things As they make their way past Hendry, the lap car up high, or the 28 rather, of Dennis Steele, well off the pace. And that's going to be a wrench in the mix here for all these lead lap drivers. They actually slowed up Hutton pretty significantly as he loses about 2-3 car lengths to Jeremiah Vincent. But maybe he's just setting something up here, trying to organize a run with the cars behind him, as looks like Safe Farias has kind of settled in here in the 7th spot behind Jeff Pogo and Cody Atkins, but almost contact, and that's going to send the 24 up the track a little bit. The 44 looks to get to the inside, not there just yet, and now he looks to the outside. The 24 going to play defensive going down into turn number 3. And the one thing that I have learned as we cross over the 100 lap threshold is that 44 car, very aggressive. Whether it's Daytona, whether it's Texas, he has been up in the mix and putting that car on the line as he goes to the inside now of the 24. And a big run down the back straightaway, not able to maintain though. As Seth Hatchell back up in the mix. He's now to the 11th position, charging hard. He's got fresh tires and he's using them up. Under 40 to go. He knows he's got to make all that ground up here on the front end of this run with those fresh tires, and he is definitely doing so. One of the fastest cars on the track. That time by even getting checked up behind Dylan Teal. Now cuts to the inside, and he's probably going to get a run here. Now gets to the inside, headed down into turn 3. Dylan's not going to be able to do anything about it as he comes up behind Eric Hawley. This could be interesting for all involved, as Holly a bit slower than Teal, but looks like Hatchell gonna have to figure out a way to get by both of these guys. He gets down right near the inside of the 25 in a big run out of turn 2 here. Should set up that pass, and it does. Goes up here at the front. Jeremiah Vincent starting to streak away from these other drivers. And a slow car, the 22 in the mix, along with the 70, could cause some problems. As they remain up on the high line. Seth Hatchell was not able to get around Eric Hawley, but continues to ride in that 10th spot alongside the lap car of Chris Wheeler. See if we can take a look here with Jeff Pogo, what he is seeing out in front of him. You can see the top 2 a little bit farther in front, and then 3rd and 4th right here in front of him. As Hutton actually looks like he started to close that gap back up behind Jeremiah Vincent. Vincent missed the corner that time by. Hutton now within 1 car length, headed down into turn number 3. And exciting stuff here as the lap's starting to wind down. Hutton, who is charged from the back of the pack, still on the back bumper of Jeremiah Vincent. The gap now just 0.2 of a second. And Hutton working a slightly different line. He's working a wider entry, which he loses a little bit of ground on the front side and then gains it all back here on the straightaways. And then he's a little bit better, I think, in 3 and 4, but pretty even amongst the top 5 right now, as Josiah Vincent actually reeling those 2 in with a little help from AJ Stravato, as they're kind of working that draft to get up in the mix. Jeff Pogo coming along with them, Zach Smith, and then Safe Farias has lost a bit of ground. Those tires finally starting to kick in, and he has a little bit of right side damage. Probably not helping his cause, and Cody Atkins looks to the inside. And I think this is where the 44 starts to go the other direction, but such a strong run to this point. As he's going to get pressured here by the 25 of Eric Hawley and the 8 of Seth Hatchell. And Hatchell going to try and get to the inside now. 3 wide down the back straightaway. Somebody's probably going to have to give, and it's not going to be Hatchell. He nearly gets into the 25, now backs out of it. But that could have been very messy for everyone. Luckily, they survive. And Jay Park, we will do that if we do get another caution here. Right now, things nice, clean, and green. It's Jeremiah Vincent still showing the way. Eric Hutton, not sure what that was. He jumped up about a lane mid-corner. I think he just got a little loose and lost some momentum, but Josiah Vincent, Jeff Pogo, AJ Stravato, all those drivers, Zach Smith, all now under a blanket, the top 6 within 0.7 of a second. As Eric Hutton, a big run out of turn 2. He's right on the bumper of Jeremiah Vincent. The 48 of Stravato now going to look to the inside as Josiah Vincent gets checked up behind the 77. Stravato finds this to be the time to make the move, and here comes Pogo along with him. But it's one thing to try and make the pass and actually complete it, but he gets a nice run out of turn 2. Looks like he might be able to do that as Josiah Vincent trying to get back down in line, and he will squeeze in between the 48 and the 24. And that checks up Jeff Pogo, who's under fire from Zach Smith, and Zach has run a very good race, up 29 positions, basically your biggest mover, along with Eric Hutton. So it looks like Hatchell has finally gotten past Eric Hawley. And also past Safe Farias, who brings it down the pit lane, and looks like Safe maybe throwing up the white flag here, putting some fresh tires on it, and see if he can kind of outpace these guys and maybe finish better than he thinks he would have, trying to run the whole way. But Jeremiah Vincent once again showing he's pretty good here on the long runs. Coming up behind Erica Lambert as they make their way past the 28 machine of Dennis Steele once again. The top 4 now a little bit more separated than they were just a handful of laps ago. Josiah Vincent has put a couple car lengths between himself and Zach Smith. Seth Hatchell now up to 6th position. And we said it already, he has the freshest tires, and he has the time to get there. But he's going to have to find something to make up 1.8 seconds on the top few here. He's led 15 laps here tonight, one of the fastest cars starting up in the top 5. And unfortunate sequence of events during the last restart sent him to the apron, where he's been trying to make up ground ever since. And in the process of doing so, starting to reel in the top 5 now. That time by a 31 flat to the leaders 31.02. So just about the same speed as everybody between them, though a bit faster in the 30.7s and 30.8s. And Eric Hutton, half a car length of difference. He looks to the outside, not going to make that work, but trying to really arc that entry. Get a nice run out of the corner. Looks like the 9 going to park the bus down low. He's going to throw the block. Here comes Stravato looking to the inside. This is for 2nd place now, as Hutton probably not real happy about that move by the 9, but such is racing sometimes. The 9 doing everything he can. Maybe losing the tires a little bit here after putting down some real quick laps early on in this run. And Hatchell now closing in. He's about a half second closer to the top spot after that whole thing went down. And a race car between all of these drivers. That's the 81 machine. Who is that? That is Dan Dill, who's way off the pace. Showing 37 laps down. The car looks okay, but I think he may have had some connection problems early on in the event, and he's been trying to just run this out. Car looks very good. I think he was just on pit lane. Yep, 9 laps ago, so he's got fresh tires. Can be up in the mix here. Is at the front. Stravato trying to do what Hutton could not and try and make a pass on Jeremiah Vincent. It's a gap just about a car length and a half between the top two. Eric Hutton losing some ground now, and he's going to fall into the clutches of Josiah Vincent. And meanwhile, while the top five battle, Seth Hatchell, he's got some lap cars to deal with. A valiant charge by the number 8 to get up in the top 6 here. And another driver we were talking about a bit earlier, the 6 machine, Dallas Sullivan. He's had some problems here and not sure what is going on, but he was up in the top 10 and he's faded a bit here. Actually just pitted 5 laps ago, so perhaps these guys cannot make it. And that would fall right into the hands of Seth Hatchell, who's got 15 less laps of laps on his tires and 15 more laps of fuel. Put him right in the pit window to be able to make it. Everybody else looking like they may have to make another pit stop. The top 13 have been on the track for all at least 33 laps apiece. But right now, Seth Hatchell, the only driver to have pitted more recently, up here in the mix with these guys. And I think it's going to fall right into his lap if everything stays green as they fight here at the top. Jeremiah Vincent throwing the block. That's going to shove the 48 right into the grass, and it's going to lose a lot of momentum. The gap now back up to 2 car lengths as they exit turn 2. And he's going to try and throw a block on Eric Hutton, who gets a big run. Goes to the high side of the 48. And this is getting pretty wild. And who can make it on fuel, who cannot? Will they have to pit? It'll be 65 laps on this stint. And perhaps some of them have been saving. Jeff Pogo, the first car 1 lap down, he's trying to get his lap back right here. Finds himself in the 13th position. But this can get very dicey when a car with fresh tires gets into the mix with the leaders who are on older tires. You know, they want to get back, they want to get on that lead lap. And it looks like the 24 are going to get to the inside of Zach Smith here. And now get checked up behind the 4. Going to try and go to the outside. But huge mix, huge gaggle of cars, leaders, lapped cars, cars with fresh tires, and damaged race cars well off the pace. That is throwing a wrench in everybody's plans, but Jeremiah Vincent is able to stretch the gap out now 0.4 of a second as Stravato gets held up a little bit behind. Stravato, Hutton fighting it out for second. Here comes Pogo to the outside of Josiah Vincent. And he's got a little ways to go to make that lap back up. And behind him, the 6 machine of Dallas Sullivan, also trying to make up some spots and get back on that lead lap. And here they go to the inside of Eric Hutton. And the 48 down low here. This is going to be interesting for Dallas to see how he navigates it. And nearly 3 wide. We are 3 wide. 2 cars on fresh tires. And then Stravato, he's going to get passed up by both of them. That actually worked out pretty well. Headed down into the corner. But Dallas Sullivan able to leapfrog the 24. And he's going to be first car 1 lap down, headed towards getting his lap back. And those guys just outside the top 10 with their sights set on the leader. And a lot to look at as Vincent going to go down low. And he's got those cars up high. Caution on the speedway. The 22 of Wheeler spun around here in the entrance of turn 1. And this is going to change everything. It was about to fall into the lap of Seth Hatchell. He's got to be so disappointed to see that yellow flag come out. figure out what happened to Chris. Looked like he blew an engine. Engine blows up here on the front straightaway, and gets in the outside wall. Gets slammed into from behind. I'm not sure who that was. We can go to another view of that. Perhaps the 113 of Worthington, Daniel Worthington, as the 22 came down the racetrack. Probably going to end the night for Chris Wheeler, but not what many drivers wanted to see. A few drivers getting trapped a lap down. Dallas Sullivan will be your lucky dog, as the rest of the field is going to bring it down the pit lane. Looks like the top 11 all going to bring it down here, among others. It's Jeremiah Vincent into his stall. Seth Hatchell, we'll see if he decides on any type of alternative strategy. And we're going to have less than 10 to go, maybe closer to 5 to go. As here comes Vincent, making his way off the pit lane. Stravato, and then Hatchell rolling out of the box. Looks like he's going to be 5th. As Josiah Vincent, Eric Hutton, 4th and 3rd respectively, make their way out. But this really helps out Jeremiah Vincent, who will hang on to the top spot. He's only going to have to survive potentially 1 or 2 more restarts at most. And look at that line of cars waiting to take a wave around. And we're going to pull up Eric Lambert here into the booth at request of Mr. J Park 093. See if we can find him in the voice channel here. There he is. Eric Lambert, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
I do.
Well, Eric, it's been a struggle for you here tonight. You're still out there, still rolling and making up some laps, but we had a request by one of our viewers to bring you up here and give you a quick interview. So, you know, obviously not the race you wanted here tonight, but, you know, what's it like here at Texas tonight? How was the car handling in the early stages, and is there anything you're going to try here to make up some spots with just a few laps remaining?
I think I've kind of dug my own grave here, but I had a equipment malfunction early in the race and ended up damaging a couple people, and then I don't know what car spun in front of me, but I kind of had the short end of the stick there. But the car, early stages when you can run at speed, is very, very, very scary loose in 1 and 2. And prior to that first caution, I was kind of babying my tires. After they got warm, I felt more comfortable with the car, and I just kind of got the short end of the stick towards the beginning of the race.
Yeah, we saw the incident where you had nowhere to go, and ultimately gave you all that nose damage. But you're still making pretty solid speed. You know, you're up here inside the top 30, so you're going to get some points out of this, and you know, definitely persistence and perseverance paying off. Because I think at one point you were near the bottom of the lineup here in like 36th, 37th. So nice solid 8 points additionally.
Yeah. Well, Texas has never been my strong suit, so I was just trying to stay in the back and keep my car clean, and that didn't pan out either. So.
Yeah, but even after the damage, you know, you were back there right around where you had started, and it definitely pays off though to stay out here and, you know, keep it up. You know, that attitude is going to pay off in the long run too. If other people have issues, sometimes they leave the races early. So, you know, good on you to stay out here and keep running these laps and try and make it to the finish. But anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go, before you get racing here again?
I want to give a shout out to you for broadcasting this. I do appreciate it. You my wife, my son, all the guys in Simulators Anonymous, which is my group of people for my Twitch stream. My chat, guys. Thank y'all for coming in and hanging out.
Awesome, Eric. Well, good luck here in the closing laps. Hopefully you get a couple more points out of this, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a great rest of your broadcast.
Thank you. All right, that was Eric Lambert, the number 3. Not the race that he was looking for here tonight, but still able to salvage some points out of it. And like I said, perseverance paying off in that he's up about 8 spots from where he was after that wreck. But heavy nose damage and not going to be able to really make a whole lot of speed here, but it's never over till it's over. So you don't want to give up. As pace car lights are going to be off, we're going to go side by side here. And get ready for another restart. To recap, 6 cautions, 9 lead changes here tonight. And the battle for the lead was getting pretty intense before that caution came out. And I think it would have fallen into Hatchell's lap if it had gone green. I think everyone was going to have to pit, at least for a splash of fuel, and that did not end up being the case with the yellow coming out. So Jeremiah Vincent going to try and close this thing out. He's led now 72 laps, really taking the lead away just before the halfway point, and he has not relinquished that. But AJ Stravato, Eric Hutton have other things in mind. They want this win too. Last week's winner, Joshua Abbey, saw him up on the screen there. He's in 21st, first car, 1 lap down. So he's going to hope for a caution here and hope not to be involved so he can get back up there. Try and fight for a win, or try and fight to get a nice solid top 10 at this point. The pace car lights are back on, so it looks like we're going to have a delayed start here. So who do you think is going to win this thing? Is it going to be Jeremiah Vincent, who's dominated this second half of the race, or is it going to be someone else making a move? Will it be Seth Hatchell, who's charged through the field to get back up inside the top 5 here, or is it going to be someone else a little farther back making their drive towards the front? Shout them out in chat. Let us know who you're cheering for, who you think is going to take the victory here. Caution lights back off on the pace car. And we're going to be going green hopefully this time by. It's going to be 4 laps to go. It's going to make it very difficult, I think, for everyone other than Jeremiah Vincent. But that being said, it could be very tough to hang on to the lead here with the low horsepower in these race cars now. He's going to have to get a perfect restart. You're going to have to be able to hold the line and hold everyone off. We've got Blazer Pete and Hobby Farmer 8 cheering on Seth Hatchell in that 5th position, the V-Speed Camaro. We've got the Vincent brothers here inside the top 5. Could be one of them as well. Eric Hutton, who's charged through the pack. AJ Stravato, who's been in the mix all race long. As pace car rolls off the pit lane. Green flag back in the air. Great restart by AJ Stravato. He's right alongside Jeremiah Vincent as they head off down into turn number 1. Behind them, it's single file racing, but Stravato timed it perfectly. This is going to work out very well for him. He cuts right alongside. Going to give the 9 some pressure. Here comes Hutton down to the inside on the apron. Are they going to be 3 wide? Yes, down the back straightaway. Stravato takes the lead away. Here comes Eric Hutton. As disastrous restart for Jeremiah Vincent. He dominated the back half of this race, but he's now in the 3rd spot with 3 to go. Can he get it back? As he looks to the inside of Hutton, he's going to get there. Almost contact. Here comes Hatchell with a huge run on the outside. He goes 3 wide, and he's going to go to the outside. Looks like he might even come around the outside of Vincent. So Hatchell up in the mix now. Can he complete the pass as they go down through 3 and 4? Stravato way out in front. I don't think anyone can touch him. The gap now half a second to Stravato. That 48 car finding its way to the top. He's only led a couple laps this race, but with 2 to go, He has the margin he needs. And unless the yellow comes out, I think it's all said and done, folks. Seth Hatchell fighting for that third spot. His car bouncing off the wall. That's Joshua Abbey. And still one more corner to go. If we get the white flag, I think it's all but over. Stravato to the line, white flag in the air. That 48 car made the move when he needed to. 3 more corners remaining. Here is Jeremiah Vincent taking second away. He's surely going to be disappointed, but Seth Hatchell fighting to get inside here on the podium. Josiah Vincent trying to make a move. Here comes Hatchell to the outside. He cuts back down low. Can any of them get a run? As AJ Stravato out of the corner. He's going to come across the line and win the Primetime Sports Talk 200. AJ Stravato, your winner here, started in the 7th position. He led just 6 laps here tonight, but it came down to that restart. The late restart. Jeremiah Vincent had kind of a misstep, either spun the tires or just did not get going exactly how he needed to, and Stravato took advantage, and a great run through turns 1 and 2 set him up for the victory here. But what a finish as he burns him down. At the Texas Motor Speedway. So congratulations to AJ Stravato for taking home the victory here tonight. We're going to cut to commercial break. Be right back with the interviews with the top 3 finishers in tonight's race.
Introducing the Brawl Network. The Brawl Network brings your favorite team's news and opinions in an unfiltered, educated, and entertaining way. Enough of the mainstream media's bias, filtered, reiterative news. Our reporters are fans of the teams they cover, as opposed to most major reporters. While some may feel it is good to get unbiased takes, it results in negative bias, passionless articles, and boring podcasts and radio. The Brawl Network changes the game by reporting the same news as the mainstream media, but with passion, in-depth knowledge of the teams, and in an entertaining way. We use our connections to bring you behind-the-scenes information and perspectives daily. Brawl is a way of life here. For our listeners and contributors, we hear all opinions, voices, ideas, thoughts, and hot takes. The Brawl Network is where your voice is heard, and you can hear your voice. Also check out NASCAR Brawl, the newest Brawl podcast focusing on all the newest NASCAR and motorsports news from across the industry. We're proud to bring you the NASCAR Brawl Cup Series sponsored by this podcast and partnered with V-Speed. Watch weekly on Wednesdays at 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time right here on Twitch at VSpeedSyn. Check out the Brawl Network at thebrawlnetwork.com and on Twitter at Network Brawl, and the NASCAR Brawl podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify with new episodes coming soon.
Hello and welcome back. We're going to do something a little bit different here and take a look back at the winning moment from tonight's race. AJ Stravato and Jeremiah Vincent on that front row. And that restart is what did it. You can see Stravato up here on the outside of the line. A huge run in the middle of the corner. He cuts down, gets right alongside Jeremiah Vincent. And Eric Hutton also throwing that 77 car in the mix really cost Jeremiah Vincent any shot at it as he got shuffled back to third here and no chance to make up that ground. Eric Hutton, though, great run from him as well. He ends up in the 5th position. But AJ Stravato, your winner here tonight. So once again, big congratulations to AJ. He comes away with the top spot. Let's go grab him and see if we can pull him into the booth here and see how he is feeling. All right, pulling him up now. AJ Stravato, this is Adam, the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Well, AJ, you were up in the mix basically all race long, and a late caution here put you in position at a fantastic restart. How'd you get it done here tonight at Texas?
I honestly, man, I don't know. I really don't know. I just got a really good restart. I was kind of messing with second and first throughout the restarts of the race that we had, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna go for the win. Josiah, Jeremiah, Eric, they're all my buddies. Obviously, Eric being my teammate at LD Racing. We got to make sure communicate and get the job done. But just restarting first gear and just got a really good restart and just tried to take off from there.
Yeah, it was a perfect jump. You were right alongside him going into turn one, and it looked like you kind of took a real wide arc through the corner and able to get along the quarter panel. Do you think you were going to be able to complete it going down into turn three, or it was pretty hard to make that outside line work, but you did make it through there and complete that?
I wasn't sure. The outside line, I was just kind of game planning and brainstorming that entire restart prior to that. What was going to happen and just situations I was going to put myself in if something were to happen. And I didn't think I was going to get that good of a restart, honestly. I was kind of hoping I could be side by side and see what happens from there. But I just got a really good run through 1 and 2 thanks to the restart. And my buddy Jeremiah, I feel really bad for him, man. He's a good friend of mine and a great guy. He put in a lot of work to this race. I think he had it in the bag if it wasn't for that late race caution. Just fortunate to get a really good restart and hard work paying off there in terms of that.
Yes, sir. Fantastic restart. Put you in position, and you drove away from there. But, we had the late caution, and some drivers had started, pitting already. Were you guys going to have enough fuel to make it to the end if that caution had not come out?
No, we weren't going to have enough. I was about 3 to 2 laps short. So my game plan was to just run it out. I've been in enough of these races where, you just want to stay out as long as you can and just kind of hope for that caution at the end of the race. And we got it at the right time and just made it happen at the end. Happy to bring it home.
Yes, sir. It did fall at the right time. I think otherwise the race would have fallen right into Seth Hatchell's hands. He was about 15 laps, further on fuel. So I think you guys caught a break there for sure. So, taking advantage of what you can when you can. And we head to Iowa next week. So you think you can follow up this victory with another one out there?
Iowa is one of my favorite tracks, so I've had success there in the past. I hope to continue that moving forward. But just want to give a shout out to a couple guys. My teammates Eric Hutton at Long Racing, NRW Photography, my buddy Chris Lewis, Asheville Bosch Tools, and everybody at TI Racing. I appreciate everything they do for us, and looking forward to the rest of the season.
Awesome, AJ. Well, congrats on the win here after starting 7th, leading 6 laps. You take away that victory tonight. So go celebrate, and we'll catch up with you next week at Iowa.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, that was AJ Stravada, your race winner here tonight. Second place was Jeremiah Vincent. So we're going to bring him up into the booth here right now. Jeremiah Vincent, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, copy.
Well, Jeremiah, didn't quite fall your way here in the closing laps, but you dominated the second half of this race, leading 74 out of the 140 laps here today after starting back in the 10th spot. But give us a rundown of how you feel the race went. Anything you could have done differently to maybe hold on for that victory tonight?
I was really hoping it would have stayed green. I would have been running out of gas out for, and I could have coasted it. But I kind of lost it to a better guy. AJ, he's a good, upstanding guy out there. Had a lot of fun out there on the track with him. Just maybe next time.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a bummer. Sometimes that's just how racing is. It doesn't go your way, even if you do everything, as well as you possibly can. And, I think what you can take away from this for sure is you have the speed and you drove away from the field on that run in the middle of the race. So obviously you're doing something, something on the next level that these guys weren't able to keep up with. But a great race overall, leading 74 laps after starting in that 10th spot. We go to Iowa next week. Any thoughts on going out there and seeing if you can maybe redeem yourself with a victory in that track?
I always love short track racing. I tend to do a little better there at times. As long as I don't get caught in a wreck, I should be all right.
Yeah, that's definitely a fun track, and the variety of grooves that you can run make for some interesting racing. But yeah, definitely easy to get caught up in wrecks there. But just great race overall. How does it feel to perform so well, early on in the season and, set yourself up, well in the points?
Well, to be honest, it feels pretty good. I literally thought over the past year or so and racing stuff, I thought I may have lost my talent a bit, but this builds a good boost of confidence going forward. I hope it carries on and hopefully eventually get into that playoffs towards the end.
Awesome. Well, yeah, definitely the performance tonight showing that you're capable of running up there and capable of winning as well. So congrats on the second place. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
I'd like to thank our sponsors, PrimeTime Sports Talk, for jumping on for this race. You guys at V-Speed, thank you. You guys do a great broadcast. And NASCAR Brawl, sponsoring the league. You guys are awesome. And I'd like to give a shout out to my teammates at Vincent Motorsports, Josiah, Lane, and Lyle. You guys are great. And I would like to thank my wife for allowing me to do this stuff. She is awesome. And I do want to give another shout out to one of my buddies, Reggie Ortega. Thoughts and prayers for his family. He's lost his grandma this week. And just to help lift up them. And Adam, you do a great job.
All right, thank you, sir, so much. Yeah, definitely, Reggie. We're thinking of you here. I saw that on Facebook as well. So thoughts and prayers going out. Hopefully you're doing all right, man, and we'll talk to him soon, hopefully. But once again, great run here, Jeremiah. Thanks for your time here after the race, and we'll catch you next week at Iowa.
Man, thank you.
All right, that was Jeremiah Vincent, second place finisher, dominating performance in the second half of this race, but unable to capture the victory here tonight. We're going to go to third place, Josiah Vincent, the number 4 machine. Josiah, this is Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, Josiah, you were up in the mix, up in the top 5, top 10 all race long. Had a shot at it there, on this final sequence of events with the late caution. And just give us a rundown of your race, how you feel you performed tonight, and what you're looking forward to.
Well, most of the time I was just in survival mode, just trying to take care of the tires best I could. I was hoping for some longer green flag runs. We got some of that tonight, but yeah, for the most part, just taking care of my tires and waiting for that long run to come in.
Yes, sir, and you definitely, we saw it kind of in the later stages of this race. It looked like the top 2 in Jeremiah and Eric had kind of broken away, and then you guys slowly started reeling them back in. And you think you would have had something for him here if it had gone green?
I'm not sure there. If it had gone green, especially with that last caution, I think we were all pretty close on fuel. Might have been running out coming out of 3, if not going into 3, but it would have been close there at the end if it wasn't for that last caution as far as making it. But tell you what, after that last run, that last caution, it was pretty intense there. I thought Jeremiah might have had a good shot at winning it, but AJ got one heck of a restart. And then from there on, I was just doing everything I could to get around Jeremiah without wrecking him. And came close a couple times, but glad it all worked out for us.
Yeah, it worked out. It did. You two, Vincent Motorsports taking second and third away here. Great result for both of you guys. And really dominating performance by Jeremiah. Just came up a little bit short, but you guys still definitely a force to contend with here, it appears, early on in this season. We head to Iowa next week, so what are your thoughts on going out there?
Thoughts are, I got to work that night, so I'm running a part-time schedule, so I'll see how well that works out in the point series. But I really like Iowa. Wish I could make it. So hopefully Jeremiah and any other guys can do pretty well.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. Definitely a fun track, so hopefully you get to tune in a little bit during that race. But it's too bad we can't see you follow up, see if you can get another top 3. But great run here tonight. After starting back in 20th position, one of the biggest movers for sure this race, up 17 spots to P3 at the end. Anybody you want to give a shout out to before we let you go celebrate?
Yeah, sure. I'd like to thank Nick for putting this series on and all the guys involved making it go around. And I'd like to thank you guys there at V-Speed for the broadcast. And tonight's sponsor, I think, was PrimeTime Sports Talk. So I'd like to thank those guys for pitching in and helping out with the broadcast and everything.
Awesome, Josiah. Well, congrats on the top 3 here tonight. Great performance by you and Jeremiah to take away those 2 of the top 3 spots. So go celebrate, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Josiah Vincent coming home P3, but once again, AJ Stravato, your winner here tonight. A fantastic restart sets him up for the victory, and we're going to go to the rest of our results and take a look at where everyone else came home. So with the victory, AJ Stravato, after 6 cautions, 10 lead changes, that last one coming with just a few laps to go, he takes away the victory and holds off Jeremiah Vincent and others, as Jeremiah Vincent comes home second, and Josiah Vincent comes home with P3. Seth Hatchell, after what seemed to be a disastrous set of situations there, he comes home in 4th with a great recovery, charging up from outside the top 20. Eric Hutton, a very strong run here, up from 34th, and he was fighting for the lead late in this, comes home with a 5th place finish. Timothy Emanuele, a very strong run, very quiet run. He comes from 27th to 6th, great run there. Alan Dice finishes P7. 8th place was Joey Mines. Brett Sommers comes home 9th, and Lane Sulfridge with a nice solid top 10 finish here tonight. In 11th place, it was Jeff Pogo. 12th was Mark Beverly. 13th, Zach Smith. 14th was your outside pole sitter, Dallas Sullivan. 15th was Saif Farias. I'm in a bad habit here of saying it the wrong way, but I'll get it right. He started up towards the front, and a couple times he was off on strategy, results in a 15th place finish. Brandon Vasquez comes home 16th, Cody Adkins 17th, Jordan Brockle 18th, Eric Holly 19th, and Dylan Teal rounds out the top 20. In 21st, it was Wes Wigan. 22nd, last week's winner, Joshua Abbey, unable to get back on the lead lap. Thomas Brendel comes home 23rd, Kyle Payne 24th, John Mullins 25th, Daniel Worthington 26th, Dennis Steele 27th. Eric Lambert salvages a 28th place finish, 3 laps off the pace, and Nick Starling comes home 29th. Chris Wheeler finishes 30th position. In 31st, it was Lyle Sulfridge, 32nd, Jordan Shepler, 33rd, Justin Hendry, 34th, Dan Dill, 35th, Michael Newman, 36th, Alexander Pelican, who was your pole sitter here tonight. Not sure what happened to Alex. Actually, I believe he was caught up in an incident, taking him out early. Eric Gallion finishes in the 37th position. 38th was Jason Perkins. 39th, Justin Holt. 40th, Justin Carey. And rounding out the field here tonight, Robin Hughes in the 41st position. So that's going to do it for all of our drivers here tonight. Thank you for the follow. Kobe Sutphin and Salad 997. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for the support here tonight. That's going to do it for our race. AJ Stravato, the clutch victory at the end, making great use of the fresh tires and the restart, takes away the victory here tonight. We want to thank you for tuning in to V-Speed. We're going to be back here next week at Iowa, right here on V-Speed. So check us out, 8:25 next week. We're also going to be broadcasting the Virtual Racing League from Bristol on Wednesday night. So a couple of short tracks back-to-back. Should be a lot of fun to watch those races. You can find race announcements over on Facebook or Twitter. You can find us at VSpeedSim on Twitter and Facebook.com/VSpeedSim on Facebook. You can find the race replays over on YouTube at VSpeed Media, and you can check for race announcements as well as other interesting automotive and racing content on that YouTube channel, as well as our Instagram, VSpeedSim. And we want to thank you for all that followed and subscribed. We're going to be doing our giveaway here next week, so tune in over on our Twitter, and we'll be releasing more details over there in the next few days. So appreciate everyone supporting us and getting us to over 300 followers and continuing to build this channel up. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. We want to thank the sponsor here tonight, PrimeTime Sports Talk, national sports outlet covering all 4 major sports, college sports, and more. You can learn more at PrimetimeSportsTalk.com or on Twitter at TalkPrimeTime. So check out those guys over there, and then check out NASCAR Brawl Podcast. They just released their first episode featuring Mike Post from MRN, and great content over there from those guys. So check them out. There's going to be more awesome episodes coming in the future. We're going to see who we can jump in with here after this broadcast. We're going to jump on board with Derek Justice. So check his stuff out. Give him a like or follow if you have not. And we thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.